Oscar. What's wrong? No, I'm not going anywhere. Why would... No. Oh, a flight. No, I'm not going on an airplane flight. I'm talking about a flight of drinks, like in a lounge or a bar where they put a bunch of small servings of drinks on a tray so that you can try them out. Yeah. No, really. No, I'm not going anywhere without you. No, you don't need to go hide in my suitcase. I promise. I swear. Look, everything's going to be fine. Just relax. I'm going to do this podcast and you'll understand what's going on, okay? It's okay. You're okay. Good boy. Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nickoleknits Under the Influence. This is episode 5, A Flight of Finished Objects. I am Nicole, and I am coming to you from, Oscar and I are coming to you from Victoria, BC, where we live with my husband equivalent himself. And in case you're wondering, Oscar is a Dachshund Jack Russell Terrier mix rescue dog. He's a handful, and today he's a little pouty because he thinks I'm going on a trip because the word flight is in the title of this podcast episode. He's a dog. What can you do? It's hard to explain these things to a dog. Anyway, thank you for being here. It's really nice to see you. I've got a lot to show you today, and let's get on with it. Cheers. Good stuff, as always. As of last week, and as always from now on, my martini recipe will be down below here in the show notes. If you try it and you like it, please let me know. If you try it and you don't like it, you could still let me know if you want. Sure. Let me know. Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe you're really a dry martini drinker. I'm not a dry martini drinker, and I have found that as trendy as dry martinis seem to be these days, that when I make martinis for people, they really enjoy them, or at least they say they do. Maybe everyone's lying to me. I don't know. Anyway, I like the way I make martinis. So, cheers. Thank you for coming. All right, let's get on with things. So first, before I move on to showing you what I've actually finished since episode 1, which is a lot, I will tell you, I have been a whiz-bang knitting machine, cranking out the finished objects. You're going to be impressed. What I still have left to do is a little bit intimidating, but we're not going to worry about that just in a moment. But first, what I'm wearing today is Hoodie Locatelli's Longline Cardigan that I knit, I'm going to say 2 years ago, maybe 3. I forgot to look. Anyway, here's Hoodie's version over here, and here's my original finished version over here. I really struggled knitting this sucker. I knit it because I bought this gorgeous merino yarn from Color Adventures at a Twist of Yarn in Vernon. They had done these series of colorways that were named after various cities and locations, and this was a New York colorway. Here's the photo of what the inspirational photo for this colorway. Well, I have been to New York City. I love New York City, and I really loved this colorway. It's got totally Nicole blue in it, it's got gray in it, and how could I resist? So, as some of you will know, Hoodie Locatelli does a knit-along in September every year, and she was doing a knit-along. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll join the knit-along, and I picked out this design because it seemed like it was going to work with my beautiful yarn. It's fingering weight, so it's pretty thin. So I had to pick one that was going to work with that. And then I decided I wanted to do a little contrast edging. So around the neck is this darker gray-blue mix. And the neck, it's a very high neck. It sits up quite a bit, so it kind of folds over to a shawl around my neck edge. When I originally knit this, I did knit it long, and I was very clever, and I put these very clever kangaroo pockets in. If you want to read all about that, you can go to my blog, which is Knicoleknits.com, www.Knicoleknits.com, and look back a bit for the blog post about this Longline cardigan. I think I called it the one that almost wasn't or something. I had a lot of challenges. So it's knit top down, totally fine. Done that before, not an issue. Contiguous knitting. Taylor, that's for you. Sorry. A little in-joke with Taylor of Wool Needles Hands about the word contiguous. If you go watch her podcast a few episodes ago about a project she's working on, you'll get the joke. So contiguous knitting, which means you're knitting all of the pieces as you go, and it's kind of like a knit in pieces and sewn together sweater, but it's all knit in one as you go down. So on this one, the upper front and upper back are knit in one piece, and it's joined under the arms, and down you go, and then you come back and pick up the sleeves, or maybe even the sleeves were built in as you go down. I'm really having trouble remembering if that's how it went. I think maybe that's how it went, is that even the sleeves were built in as you knit down. I probably should have looked back at my notes on this before talking to you about it. However, so what happened was, for some reason, my row gauge, so stitch gauge is the number of stitches you have across, and row gauge is the number of rows you have up and down either way per inch. My stitch gauge was perfect, spot on. My row gauge somehow was not. My rows were somehow longer. I don't know why. It could be the way you're holding your tongue. It could be the moons in Jupiter. Like, when you're substituting a yarn that was not the yarn the designer used in the pattern, anything can happen. It's a free-for-all. So my row gauge was off. So by the time I finished the sleeves, or finished the armholes, they were down here, and I was not happy with that. And I'd already done something, I can't remember. Anyway, I'd already gone all the way down to the bottom and did my fancy kangaroo pockets, and finished all the edging and did all that stuff. And I really didn't want to rip it all back up into the body and knit it over stockinette in fingering weight, long and wide enough to go around my hips at the bottom. So that was a lot of knitting. In hindsight, I probably should have ripped it all back up and started over. I did not. So what did I do? I actually knit in a little curved kind of gusset piece under each arm. I know, it's absolute madness. If you really walked up and looked closely, here, let me stand up and maybe you could see what I did. I don't know. Can you see? There's like here. So around here, there's like a little curved gusset that I filled in the armhole with before putting the sleeve in. It was very fiddly, and I just, however, I like the look better because I like a close fit sleeve. I don't like a deep long sleeve. I feel like it just looks sloppy on me. So I did that, all good. I probably wore it full length a couple of times, but I really wasn't picking it up out of my closet and wearing it much. So I thought, well, what can I do to it that's going to make it more wearable? And I came to the realization that I actually prefer shorter cardigans. So I took it and I I cut it and first I picked up a bunch of stitches and I cut it and I made it shorter. So it only comes to my kind of mid-hip area now instead of being down my thigh. And now I wear it a lot. So there you go. I toss it on all the time. I toss it on over gray t-shirts. I toss it on over blue t-shirts, over like these light turquoisey. Yesterday I was wearing it over a light turquoisey t-shirt, which I wanted to wear again today, but it needed to be washed. That was too much information, wasn't it? What am I talking about? I don't need to tell people I don't need to tell you about my laundry. I don't. Anywho, right, Hohi Locatelli's Longline Cardigan, now a shortline cardigan with gussets under the arms, but still delicious New York colorway. And no, I don't think you can get this colorway from Color Adventures anymore, but go check them out. Go check out Twist of Yarn and Color Adventures yarn because it's really, really nice yarn. And they do have some beautiful colorways. Okay, now let's move on, shall we? Okay. So, as you may recall from episode 1, I showed you 13 whips, 13 works in progress that were sitting on the needles waiting to be finished. And I said that I wasn't going to cast on any new projects until I finished all those whips. And I haven't. I want you to know, I haven't cast on a new project since. I have since then, which was 4 weeks ago, I have finished 6 of them. Want to see them? Oh, you did see one of them last week? The week before? When was I wearing it? I can't remember. The bloom. So let's look at that first because I've already worn it and talked about it, so we can just go through it quickly. So, oh yeah, right, because this is the one that I was going to give to my mom, and then I took it back and decided to keep it. So this is the bloom pullover that it's Julie Hoover's pattern. It's very, very nice. I have been wearing this a lot. It's a beautiful combo of cotton merino and cotton merino silk lace and cashmere on the sleeves and little cashmere edgings around the neck and down the center front and down the center back with a bit of a marl. You can see there. I just really, I really like it. I really like it. I didn't, it's weird, you know, it's like when I put it on, when it was mostly done, I didn't like it at all. And when I finished it and put it on, I really like it. The more I wear it, the more I like it. So there we go. So that is FO number 1. Just off the list. Yeah. So that takes us down to 12. And then next, what did I finish next? I finished, oh yes, I can't remember if I showed you this or not. I finished my Leerdam Advanced Cowl that I had cast on and started working on because I was watching Knit Stars Yarniverse knit along community Zoom video thing, and I got all caught up. Anyway, I finished it. I love it. You can go and look at my Ravelry link down below that will tell you what yarns I used. I didn't modify anything. I just knit it as is. Pretty sure. Yep. I knit it as is, as designed. So no funny business with this, but it's gorgeous. And the colors, I love. It took me a bit to get the colors right. I had to swap them out a couple of times. Like I got a ways through the color work and decided, nah, that wasn't working, and changed it. So it's got this colorway, which is Malabrigo Ultimate Sock in Wabi Sabi. This colorway, which I love. And then a little bit of green I think it's called New Leaf in this Mrs. Crosby's hat box. And I think this colorway is called New Leaf, a New Leaf. And a bit of kind of light gray, which I'm pretty sure was a Madeline Tosh sock in there. Anyway, the color combo just works beautifully together. The light gray gives it that hit of something like, I'd say a pop of color, but it's kind of a pop of non-color, if you will. So anyway, there we go. FO number 2, Advanced Leerdam Cowl, crossed off the list. That's 2 down now. So that takes me down to 11 whips. The next thing I finished was, ta-da, the Thrummed Mitts. Remember the Thrummed Mitts? So these are them. There's now 2. I had 1. Now there are 2. It didn't take me too long to get the second one done. I'll just, in case you forget. Oh, and by the way, this was the first time I got to use these. Very cool glove blocker thing. Look, it looks cool. I ordered these from England. Oh, sorry. I'll put the link down below because I can't remember what the company was. They were about £25 for the pair, but they're just the coolest. All right, so this is the first time I got to use them. It's very exciting. So just to remind you about what the inside of Thrummed Mitts look like. So the inside of the mitts is a bunch of little puffy, fluffy hunks of roving. So those little puffy, fluffy hunks of roving are worked in as you knit every 4th round. And then when you stick your hand in here, you get, your hand is insulated by that fluffy, puffy roving, as well as the lovely wool yarn on the outside. So, super warm. Obviously they're not for me. They're really big. They're for himself. He tried it on. They fit him great. And I will let you know as the colder weather arrives here in Canada, although we are pretty south in Canada. So it's still going to be a couple months before we get cold enough that he's going to need these. So, FO number 3. Whoosh, crossed off the list. Thrummed Mitts. Next, I finished the Saxe Point socks. Look at how cute. Aren't they cute? Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, that's enough of that. You can see at the top, I did the color work. Andrea Rangel's beautiful color work design. It's very simple and very subtle in the colors I've used. I made just a little bit of a change because I did a hung hem, folded hem on the top edge. That's how I like to knit my socks short, and I like to do a folded hem at the top instead of ribbing. It's just how I like them. So I did a folded hem. I'll take this off. Oh, right. Here's the thing. I wear a medium. These are too big. Wah, wah. So, bit of a sad story. My own fault. Not Andrea's fault by any stretch. My own fault. I don't think I gauge swatched when I knit these. I just cast on the number of stitches that I knew I had cast on in socks previously, but I was using a bigger needle than I normally use, and I didn't pay attention to that, and they just turned out too big. And because I was knitting 2 at a time, because if I don't knit 2 at a time, I don't finish them. There was no like ripping one back and starting over and then doing the other one. I would have to rip them both back, start them both over, do the color work, hang the hem, take out the afterthought heel. It's not happening. So somebody's getting a nice pair of socks for Christmas. You can let me know if you want it to be you. So yeah, I wear like a 7.5 shoe, and these are too big for me. So it's got to be somebody. I wear a 7.5 to an 8, and these are too big. So it's got to be somebody with a bigger foot than I have. Anyway, I was taking this off so I could show you the hem. So what I do is I knit the colorwork section, and then I knit a row of purl stitches for the fold, and then I knit as many rows in plain stockinette as there were in the colorwork section, and then I picked up a stitch at the bottom of the colorwork section for each stitch that was left around the top edge and knit them together as I went around and joined them. The alternative is you just bind off and then hand sew the hem down. That's the alternative. I like to actually stitch it in because it looks really neat and tidy when it's actually knit together in there, as opposed to hand sewn down. Anyway, not that it matters. I mean, seriously, not that it matters. It's on the inside of a sock and no one's ever gonna see. But I am fuss budgety about these little details, perhaps to my detriment. But anyway, you tell me. You tell me. Am I crazy? I might be. And if you say so, I'll believe you. So there we go. This is finished object 4. Finished object 4. Socks. Whoosh, crossed off the list. Now we're down to what? We started with 13. Now we're down to 13, 10. Now we're down to 9 left, right? If I'm doing my math right. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the next one, and this one you might, okay, like maybe this one's like maybe a little bit of a cheat. Maybe I cheated. Maybe I did. Shh. No, none of your business, Oscar. When I say cheating, that's, yeah, never mind. So this is my design. This is my Radial City cowl. I had shown you that I had started a different sample of this. The whip that I needed to do was a new sample of my cowl that I felt like showed it off well enough that I could then write the pattern and get it tested. So I had shown you this version, and this was in a completely different yarn. It's in a blend of, it's the mulberry linen, so it's alpaca, silk linen. It's lovely yarn, but again, you can see the sizing's a little bit different, even though it's on the same size needle. The impact of it is not the same as this. So I think I did well. This is in Barocco Arno, and Arno is a blend of something and something. I think it's cotton and merino blend, Arno. It's a little bit fuzzy, a little bit halo-y. Remember the halo? It's a little halo-y. I got the right word this time. Yeah. I didn't need you to remind me. And I really like it. I think it turned out really quite cool. Here, I'll put it on. You can see how pretty cool it is, right? Look at that. Neat, hey? Get my glasses back on. There. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. So anyway, I swapped out, I got it with my earring. Oh, no, good, fixed. I swapped out this for this. So it's really the same whip. This may never get finished. So we're just pretending like this didn't exist, that I had started this one. I needed to finish this, which I did. So this is my Radial City Cowl sample, pattern sample, FO number 5, off the list. Last one, FO number 6. This is it right here. The mini Unbearable hoodie. Do, 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 do. How cute is this? Look how cute. The little hoodie with the little padded ears. The little white underneath. And look at the folded hem casing around the edge of the hood for the cord. It's just so cute. It's so cute. I love it. Now, this actually was not the last thing I finished. It's closer to the first thing I finished. However, that doesn't matter. It's finished. It's finished object number 6, which is good. I'm going to talk to you at some point about the carrying the float stranding method, because you can see where I switched from standard carry it and catch it in the back method, where you can see the charcoal coming through the white here, to ladder back. This is what ladder back looks like on the back, like that. Ladder back, in which you leave the floats long and they sort of get scooped up like a spider web. They don't touch. They're not caught up with the working yarn at all. Except at the very top of an area and the very bottom of an area. So they're secure, they're not going to snag, but they don't pucker or affect the surface in any way. So it looks nice and smooth and perfect. Because I am fuss budgety and a perfectionist, as you're getting to know, that's the method I like. So at some point, I promise I will teach you what ladder back is and how it works. In the meantime, this FO is done. I'm going to have it for a while, so I will get a chance to film a ladder back tutorial for you. The only other thing about this is there are a couple of areas in this pattern, like the little hats that are above the bears' heads, and down here where you've got the white, you've got the charcoal, the pink and the white going on at the same time, where technically you should be carrying 3 strands across, like 3 colors around the whole row at a time. I did not. I did try it at first. I didn't like it. And so I ripped it back, and I decided that I was going to duplicate stitch the hats on after and duplicate stitch these white sections on after. And that's exactly what I did. For the uninitiated, duplicate stitching is threading the color of yarn you want to work with onto a needle, and you're following the path of the stitch underneath it. So you're coming up at the base and up over one side of the V and around the back and down the other side of the V, and then over to the next stitch and over the front of the V, across the back and down the side, covering it up with a different color. From a distance, it looks like it was stitched in, but it's actually sitting on top of the color underneath. Anyway, I found that a much easier way to deal with those 3 color areas than actually carrying 3 colors around. But we will talk about that in depth on another time when I do a whole episode on stranding methods and how I like to do them. Because there are, like all things in knitting, there are so many ways to do stranding methods, and I have tried many of them and come down to the few that seem to work for me. So I'll tell you what those are. You can try them or not, or stick with one that works for you. It's all good. Okay, now that's it. Okay, we struck 6 whips off the list, and what's left is 7. There are 7 whips left to finish before I'm allowed to cast something new on. So let's just quickly recap those. I don't want to take too long to do that, but I just want to remind you, because episode 1 was a long time ago, what's left on the list. So first, what I am actively working on right now is the Affinity cardigan. That's it. Affinity video sweater clasp cardigan. As you may recall, I had completed the back. This is being knit in a really cool alpaca blend, 45% Highland wool, 25% superfine alpaca, and 20% acrylic. This fantastic blend called Manchester, in this beautiful cable pattern designed by Patty Lyons, taught in her amazing video sweater class. So good. If you're at all interested in doing this sweater, please take the class. It's worth it. I had done the back, I had done half of a front, and now I have all of a front done. And I am boogieing away, boogie on my second front. So making progress on that. It's going quite quickly. It's on 4.5mm needles and worsted weight yarn. And even though there's a lot of complexity going on with a bunch of different charts happening at the same time and some pocket shaping and a pocket facing coming in behind, once I'm past that point, I can just whip up the rest of that front, do the sleeves, sew it together, and then do the shawl collar, and it's done. So I'm anticipating finishing this within 2 weeks, maybe, fingers crossed, perhaps. Let's see. I'm going to guess 2 weeks before I can finish that. Then another sweater. So of those 7 whips that are left, there are 5 sweaters and 2 blankets. I'm mad. I'm just a mad woman. Mad crazy knitter. So the second sweater on that whip list is Pat Olsky's from Vogue Knitting Fall 2016. It's this cabled patchwork, they call it Patchwork sampler. So it's a bunch of different sections. Each front and back is knit in 3 long strips with different sections of different types of cables and textured stitches within them. Pretty cool. In a haiku simply worsted yarn. Again, it's worsted weight, so this should go pretty quickly. I have 2 sections of the back done, and 1 section, the middle section of the front. I am reworking this into a V-neck. It was a crew neck design, and I'm doing it as a V-neck because I like V-necks. Although, as we discovered with my bloom pullover, I can also pull off a crew neck if need be. So, but however, I already did this as a V, so this is going to be a V. All right, so that is whip number 2 to be done. Again, I don't expect this one to take me too long once I get back at it. Another couple of weeks probably for that. So now where are we? We're into mid-October, the end of October. So by the end of October, I should have those 2 sweaters done. You see where this is going? It's now going to take me much longer to finish the next batch of whips because I've left all the sweaters to the end, like the lunatic that I am. Another sweater that still is to be done is my Grace Notes pullover Hohi Locatelli. Oops, my books fell over. That's this one. I've not done any work on this at all. Now I can't remember which way this goes. I think it goes this way. So this is the upper back, and this is a fade of a bunch of gorgeous Madeline Tosh DKs. it's being knit. This is DK yarn, but it's quite heavy DK, so it's actually being knit at a worsted gauge again on 4.5 mil needles. So again, this shouldn't take me too long to get done. I really want to wear this sweater, so I am quite keen to get this one finished. However, I don't have much of it done. I only have part of the back, so I'd have to finish the back, do the fronts and sleeves. Probably another couple of weeks there, so we're looking at towards the mid-November for this one. And then right around then is when my friend Kathy is coming. Oh yeah, here. And Kathy and I are working on the Westbourne. So as you might remember, this is the Westbourne. Now this is in like lace weight yarn. Very, very fine lace weight silk in a very loose gauge, but still, loose gauge or not, it's still knit on a 3.5 millimeter needle, which is pretty small compared to 4.5. So fortunately with this one, the yoke is done, and now I'm working down the body on the stripes. So that's not too bad, and then the sleeves, and that one's done. So it's not half done, but it's a good third done already. So I should be able to get this one done by the end of November. And now we're getting into Christmas time. Do you see what's happening here? I'm not going to be able to knit anything, cast on anything new for months. I'm feeling a bit sad that I made this pledge. Maybe I need to get some good, like, start drinking caffeine 24/7, staying up all night, getting some, like, hardcore structured knitting time in. Oh, man, if himself watches this episode, he's going to pitch a fit. I'm already taking my knitting with me everywhere as it is. I've been bringing it in the car and to restaurants and like everywhere we go. Every time I'm sitting down or got a second, I'm pulling my knitting out and working on it because I am determined to get these whips done. And then there was one more sweater on that list, and that is a ziggurat by Osa Tricosa, ziggurat method V-neck tunic called Vaudeville. Another top-down contiguously knit sweater, and all I have is this. So what do you think? Like, tell me honestly, like, really, this is barely cast on, barely. I've done like a few short rows to do the top shoulders of the back, and that's it. Like, that's all I have. Can I make a plea? Please, would you let me just wipe this one off the list and let me cast on something else before I have to finish this one? I promise I won't cast on more than like one or maybe two other things. I just, like, it's barely started. I don't even know why I brought it up. Can we pretend like I never brought it up? Like you never saw it, like it doesn't exist. Like I wasn't a lunatic who took a 3 millimeter needle and started casting on a tunic length light fingering weight sweater. It didn't happen, right? Okay, can we agree it didn't happen? I'm gonna pretend it didn't happen unless I get like 100 comments down below that say no, you have to finish that sweater. So that's it. If you don't comment and say no, you have to finish that sweater, it's no longer existing. Okay, it's going back here. It's going back here. I'm putting it underneath the Grace Notes. It's underneath. It's no longer there. That leaves two more. That leaves the 10 stitch marled fingering weight, doubled fingering weight baby blanket. And this actually doesn't need much to finish it. I think all I'm going to do is I need to knit across this top edge. I need to finish this row across the top edge, and then I'm going to do a bit of a garter stitch border, a few rounds of garter stitch border just to finish. I mean, I could leave it, but I would like a border on it just so it looks more finished, not like I just stopped knitting and it's over. So I'm going to pick up and do, or maybe I'll crochet a border. I'll crochet a border. Yes. That was a brilliant idea of mine just now. My next episode, I'm going to talk about crochet and my crochet work, because I haven't talked about my crochet, and you people probably don't believe that I crochet because you haven't seen me crochet anything, and I haven't shown you anything I've crocheted. So I'm going to show you things I've crocheted, and and I'll pick up and start crocheting a border on this, so I can prove that I actually do crochet, because I do. I'm not very good at it. I mean, I can fake it. I'm not, there are many people who are way better crocheters than I am. However, I have some reasonable crochet skills. Then the last one is my Pearl Soho library blanket that I have not touched. This is the one that sits in the living room. It's waiting to be finished. It's got maybe 20% left to do, like I don't know, maybe this much left to do. So this actually shouldn't take very long, and this might be something I can work on a little bit in between working on sweaters, because I do try to keep 2 projects going, like one upstairs and one downstairs. So I'm trying to be monogamous on one when I'm down in the living room, and working on another one that I can pick up and do a little bit of knitting, like 5 minutes here and there during my day when I need a break from my brain exploding jobs. So maybe this one and the other blanket, the 10 stitch blanket, can stay up here and get picked on here and there, and then I'll have a major project downstairs that gets worked on while himself and I are Netflixing after dinner at night. Okay, so that's it. Oh, okay, hang on. Now, that's one more thing. So that's all. That was everything on the whip list. That was everything. So with your permission, I am taking that original whip list from 13 down to 12, because I really think it's insane to count that Vaudeville sweater that I had barely done like 2 rows on as a whip that I have to finish before I can cast something else on. And then, so that leaves me with 4 sweaters and 2 blankets to finish. And then I think I have a lot of sweaters and projects ready to go. Like, I've got the yarn, I've got the pattern. I'm just so ready to knit these things. So ready. But this might have to be first. So I'm going to show you this one. This is a new design. It's not even out yet unless you've bought a kit from Mayak Yarns. You can't get this pattern. It won't be publicly published until November, December, something like that. It's called Smoke Show. It's a little buttoned up vest by Thea Coleman, who is Baby Cocktails. Thea Coleman's been around for a long time. She did the vodka lemonade cardigan, which you can go and read all about on my blog. She's done so many incredible designs. She is a phenomenal designer. This vest speaks to me on so many levels. I ordered Mayak yarn for it. I didn't order it in the gray. I mean, this looks very blue in this picture, but it's actually a gray that they dyed specially for this. I didn't order it in the gray. I ordered it in midnight blue. And when it arrived, I looked at it and I thought, what the? Did they send me the wrong thing? Look at how dark this is. And the camera is making it look lighter than it is. I took it out of the box at dusk, I guess. And I would have sworn it was black. It's so dark. Finally, when I got it out into different light and into daylight, I could see that it is actually blue, but you can barely tell. So I was a little weirded out at first because I thought, have I got the wrong yarn? I was very confused. But what I did, I swatched. I'm allowed to swatch. Swatching is not casting on. Swatching is just preparing to cast on. It's not casting on. Swatching is allowed. I said so. So here's my swatch. Let's see. It's so dark. Can you even see it? Oh, here. If I tip it this way into the light a bit. Look at that cable. Isn't it incredible? It's so amazing. It's just, sublime is the word I want to use. It sounds so pretentious. But I think it's sublime. I absolutely love this so much. It's a vest. It's knit on 4.5mm needles. So it won't take that long. And I just want to have this vest. I want to be able to wear it for what's left of winter after I finish these other 4 sweaters. So this is why I'm begging you to let me ignore the ziggurat sweater for now. And when I finish the other 4, I can cast this on, please, 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 because you want to see this. You want to see this done. You do. You do. It's going to be something else. Okay, and this is, did I say it was Mayak? It's Mayak, 100% baby yak, worsted weight, and on a 4.5mm needle. Mayak yarns are phenomenal. There'll be a link down below. You can go check them out. It's soft, and but it's strong, and it's rustic, but it's elegant. Okay, I'll stop. I just gotta stop. I'm in love with this. I'm in love. So if there were ever a motivation to finish up the rest of this, this is my motivation. It's sitting right there waiting for me. All right, folks, knitter friend, I think that's enough for today. It's taken me a long time today to get this recording done. I've been struggling with my camera. I let the battery die, and then it kept kicking out on me, and I thought, I'd just bang out this filming this afternoon, and now it's 7:30 at night. I'm tired, and I still have a bunch of editing to do before I can put this up. However, you don't need to hear about, how the sausage is made behind the scenes. That's not why you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you've been enjoying your own cocktail. Well, sorry, I couldn't resist. I hope you've been enjoying your own cocktail while we've been here together. It was great to have you. Thank you for your encouragement on getting these whips under control. I'm feeling very accomplished. And next week, like I said, next video is going to be about crochet. Woohoo! Even if you're not a crocheter, you're going to want to watch this because I might change your mind. It's really fun to be able to do both. And I think you're going to see a trend coming soon of projects that contain both knitting and crochet in the same project. It's going to be a thing. I'm telling you right now. I would put money on it if I were a gambler, which I'm not. So watch next week. We're going to talk about crochet. I say goodbye. Oscar says goodbye. And thank you again for coming. Please like and subscribe. And see you soon. Cheers. Bye.